From cautionary tales to terrifying descriptions, we are taking a trip to the underworld today. Here are the top 10 demons you should never ask a Ouija board about. What's the scariest demon you've ever heard of? Starting off this list, in our number 10 spot we have Zozo. Would this be a list of Ouija board demons without Zozo? Zozo seems to have not been around for very long, but he is powerful, and in fact, as we talk about him, he only gains strength. Zozo is a demon who, if summoned during a Ouija board experience, even if you close everything properly and say goodbye as you should, you'll still be able to feel his presence lingering around for quite some time afterward. Many people have recounted their stories with Zozo, and while he is a demon, he acts like a poltergeist and has attempted to harm people, or at the very least has been known to throw furniture and other possessions around. These are only a few of the reasons why, if you find that you've summoned Zozo, it's imperative you close the Ouija board properly and then also probably burn it after too, just to be safe, you know? In our number 9 spot today we have the Donovan family. In the early 1970s, famous paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren were called to the home of the Donovan family, and when they arrived they found them all terrified. They witnessed loud pounding and other inhuman noises coming from inside of the walls, the wallpaper was peeling, and the water was running red. The Warrens began their investigation, and this included asking them questions to try and find out if there was a source of the haunting, such as a recently passed away family member or some kind of new secondhand item. Through this questioning, it was revealed that one member of the family had used a Ouija board and ended up contacting someone who had died in the neighborhood 10 years earlier. The Warrens knew it was time for them to call a priest because they believed that the entity that had been reached through the Ouija board was actually a demon just posing as the person who had passed away. Following an exorcism, it is said that things in the home slowly returned to normal, but the events stayed with the entire family. One member who witnessed the hauntings and the exorcism said, quote, "I nor anyone else in my family have ever before witnessed anything so weird and terrifying." In our number 8 spot today we have Aciel. Aciel is one of the electors of hell and is monitored by the archangel Raphael. Aciel is one of the 7 planetary demons, as he is the demon of Saturn. He dwells in the bowels of Earth and can be summoned by being invoked 3 times, but he will only appear in a magical circle that has been prepared specifically for him. His appearance is basically that of a tall, buff demon with reddish-brown skin. He has 4 horns on each side of his head and has creepy yellow eyes. He does have a human form in which he appears as a handsome man, but only stands around 3 feet tall in this form. He believes in the superiority of demons to ordinary beings, and he holds a lot of anger towards any kind of deity. He does have the power to make those who summon him rich, and the good news is that he doesn't have a lot of disdain for humans, but the catch is as long as you don't worship any kind of god. Aciel shows great respects for both Lilith and Lucifer, as he believes that the gods don't do anything other than sit and watch as people struggle in sin. So I guess with him, as long as you are not a god, you're probably safe, but I wouldn't risk summoning him, just in case. In our number 7 spot today we have Näkki. The Näkki is a demonic jinn that originated in Estonian, Finnish, and Swedish mythology. She sometimes appears as a floating tree trunk, a large black horse, a hound, a silvery fish, a beautiful woman, or an ugly fisherman. With all these shapes and forms, it's no wonder people say that they aren't really sure what she actually looks like. She lives in the water, and she waits until some unsuspecting person catches their reflection in it, and that is when she strikes, pulling them into the waters below. It is said that her favorite places to make her home are in under bridges that cross rivers, docks, or piers, or in murky pools and wells. The good thing is that there are ways to ward off her evil, and that is by either reciting a magical spell 3 times before entering the water, wearing a charm made of iron, or by keeping a knife near you in the water. I think that last one is probably the least ideal of all of the options if you have the choice though. In our number 6 spot today we have Beelzebub. Beelzebub is a former seraph who turned into a high-ranking demon. He is one of the princes of hell and also oversees the Order of the Fly. He, Satan, and Lucifer form the triarchy of hell, which makes him one of the supreme monarchs of the underworld. As a seraphim, he was under the archangel Gabriel, but he was one of the very first angels to fall. Beelzebub is often confused with Satan, and while the two names can technically be interchanged, they are 2 separate entities, and in some writings, they even disagree. Beelzebub is associated with pride and gluttony, and he has also been held responsible for demonic possessions throughout the years. Unfortunately, flies are a very important thing for him, as it is said that he can take the form of flies. Now, his main job is to rule over the fallen angels, as well as all the demons that are originally from hell. In our number 5 spot today, we have Lilith. Lilith is a demon goddess who appears a lot in mythology. Her dark origin origins start in Sumerian and Babylonian demonology, and she is the picture of a beautiful maiden with a very dark spirit. Legend says once she chose a lover, she would never let him go and would give nothing in return. Some people believe that Lilith was actually the first wife of Adam, and that the two were created equal, but Adam didn't like that she wasn't obedient to him, so he abandoned her, and this is when God made Eve. This is what is rumored to have turned Lilith into a snake, which then tempted Eve into the apple. After Adam and Eve were then banished from the Garden of Eden, Lilith turned into a demon goddess and vowed to get her revenge on all men. In our number 4 spot today, we have the Jorogumo. This creature, according to lore, is said to be a yokai that is half woman, half spider. She has the ability to appear as a beautiful human in order to lure unsuspecting men so that she can devour them like a black widow. Legend has it that one day a young samurai encountered an alluringly gorgeous woman on the streets. Many people would have been fooled by her appearance, but the samurai was not so naive. He saw through the disguise and immediately drew his sword, but he was only able to injure her before she was able to scurry away. He followed the trail of scarlet that was left by her blood, and it led him to an old abandoned house. When he peered inside, he saw dozens of bodies that were bound in spider silk. In our number 3 spot today, we have the demonic animal. One more story from the Warrens. This one came straight from Ed himself. He told this story when he was trying to set an example of how things of the occult and the supernatural certainly are not for amateurs or for the faint of heart. He used this story of a girl who was playing with a Ouija board. You know, how all good supernatural stories start. She asked for proof of a spirit presence and she got a lot more than she bargained for. Ed Warren said, quote, "She got this proof with 2 days and 2 nights of hell. Apparently it started off with a manifestation of sort of an animal form walking on her bed. This then turned physical, and whatever this entity was left her with bruises. It is said that thankfully the mother in the home saw what was happening and she took action. She not only prayed by the girl's bedside, but she also sprinkled holy water. There was a 2-day vigil in which everyone tried to rid the girl of this demonic presence that she had summoned, and thankfully it worked." In our number 2 spot today, we have Tokoloshe. This creature originated in South Africa and it appears in Zulu mythology. It is said that this creature is quite short, but very frightening. What it lacks in height, it makes up for in a vertical better than Michael Jordan in his prime. Legend has it that this creature likes to jump on people's chests at night while they are sleeping so that it can steal their breath away. Aside from the whole jumping thing, it is said that this creature is also quite fast, and one kind of random fact is that it apparently loves curdled milk, which is disgusting. So while he's stealing your breath, I guess you just have to sit there smelling his hot curdled milk breath. 0 out of 10. Would not recommend. There is a way to protect yourself against him, and that is by putting your bed on high bricks. This is because if the bed is raised too high, then this malevolent being won't be able to just jump up on your chest to complete its breath-stealing work. And finally, in our number 1 spot today, we have Hades. Hades is the king of the underworld and the god of the dead, and I'm not sure if it gets any darker than that. It was believed that just by speaking his name, he would have the power to bring you to the underworld, so people tried to avoid his name like it was Voldemort. Hades was sure to never let any souls that entered the underworld escape, and he would punish anyone who tried, or anyone who tried to save someone in the underworld. One of the darkest myths in reference to him is the time he kidnapped Persephone. He opened up the earth where she was picking flowers and kept her in the underworld. Persephone's mother Demeter was of course really unhappy about this and did everything that she could to get her back. Hades finally agreed to let her go, but of course there's always a twist with these guys. He gave her a pomegranate seed as a parting gift, which she ate. Little did she know, if you eat food from the underworld, it binds you to it, so now she is bound to Hades, and basically the story just ends off with her being allowed to live a few months of the year on Earth, but the rest of the time she was stuck in the underworld. So yeah, Hades is just out there kidnapping people, which is super uncool. Don't summon him with a Ouija board. Unless you want to get kidnapped. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski, and I will see you again soon. Bye!